Hey guys, this is Mark from Mark Reads Comics, and today we're checking out The Superior Spider-Man #1, the brand new 2023 run. Looks like he's back in town. Let's check it out. The story opens with Spider-Man letting his sidekick Spider-Boy take down a D-list villain named Mirage. Afterwards, they relax and eat some ice cream. Spider-Man has recently returned from a reality where Uncle Ben had lived, so now he laments these memories since it makes him feel like he lost them again. On the other side, Spider-Boy feels bad since he was erased from reality, so even though he somehow returned, everyone forgot he ever existed. Suddenly the heroes are attacked by a woman that seems to be made out of flames. Neither of the spiders know who she is, but she is angry and out for revenge over Spider-Man for stealing her away. Spider-Man tries to confront this woman named Supernova, while Spider-Boy tends to the crowd. Elsewhere, Anna Maria, who once dated Dr. Octopus when he was the superior Spider-Man, sees the fight on TV and recognizes Supernova as Estrella Lopez. Dr. Octopus shows up to witness the battle. He explains that back when he was the superior Spider-Man, he came close to completing his controlled fusion reactor. His assistant, Estrella, tried to take the power for herself, which turned her into Supernova. Otto had to contain her back then, but he accidentally released her in current day. Since Otto was in Spider-Man's body back then, Supernova is after Spider-Man instead of Dr. Octopus. During the fight, Supernova blasts the foundation of a water tower and it's about to topple over and fall into the people below. Spider-Man uses his webs to hold it and then swings it into Supernova. Spider-Man figures that she is only after him, so if he hides and takes off his costume, she'll probably go away. His spider sense goes wild and he figures it's because Supernova's in the area, not noticing that one of Dr. Octopus's Octoid robots, which are kind of like flying cameras, was filming him. Supernova busts out of the water tower, but she lost sight of Spider-Man. She flies off for now, and Parker says he'll give Spider-Man a break. Meanwhile, the Octoid returns to Dr. Octopus and he finds out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. So Otto determines that this means that if he was in Spider-Man's body back then, he was actually in Peter Parker's body, and he finally remembers all of the events during his initial run as a superior Spider-Man. We also get a short backup story where Spider-Boy was also a sidekick for the superior Spider-Man back then. He shows up to help Spider-Man stop Mr. Negative from robbing equipment from the Fantastic Four. Mr. Negative says he was there to rob the place, but he actually caught Spider-Man trying to rob it first. As Spider-Man tries to explain to Spider-Boy some made-up story, Mr. Negative gains control of Spider-Boy and sends him after Otto. As they fight, Mr. Negative tries to escape with the equipment when suddenly Ant-Man, Medusa, She-Hulk, and Miss Thing show up to fight him. The superior Spider-Man refuses to strike a child due to his own past with an abusive father, but that apparently doesn't stop him from body slamming Spider-Boy and telling him that he'll never be Spider-Man. She-Hulk and Medusa are angry at how he's treating his sidekick, and Otto sees this as a chance to leave the kid with them so he can go solo. Otto's main concern is the fact that Spider-Boy's spider sense works by him touching something or someone and seeing visions about what's going on. So if Spider-Boy were to ever lay a hand on him, he'll find out that he's actually Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man's body. As Spider-Man swings off, the other heroes take Spider-Boy in. The young hero says he'll stay with them until Spider-Man snaps out of whatever's bothering him lately. Ant-Man says not to get his hopes up since people like that never change. And now for my thoughts, and a whole lot of backstory. The original Superior Spider-Man run dealt with Dr. Octopus switching bodies with Peter Parker just in time to avoid death. At this point, Dr. Octopus's body was badly broken down due to all the years fighting against Spider-Man. Peter Parker dies while being in Otto's fragile body, while Otto gets a new lease on life in Spider-Man's body, even though part of Parker's soul was still in him. Otto eventually becomes a superhero of sorts and sets out to prove that he is the superior Spider-Man. When the Green Goblin becomes too much for him, Otto has no choice but to return his body to Peter Parker for the greater good. Over the years, and a lot of comic book shenanigans here and there, Doc Ock eventually regains his original body but loses the memories of these events, which led to him accidentally releasing Supernova. There was a one-shot called The Superior Spider-Man Returns that was released not that long ago that explains in more detail how Otto releases Supernova that kicks off the events of this issue. In fact, Otto mentions that this issue takes place later that same night. So this whole deal with Supernova is like this extra untold tale that was explained in this one shot, but it was never really shown in the original Superior Spider-Man run. I was actually racking my head trying to remember this character and being like, when did he fight her? What the fuck? Because I own the entire run. I've never seen her before. But after looking up a couple of articles about this brand new villain that's out for Spider-Man or whatever, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so she was just kind of made up for this story. It's kind of similar to Dragon Ball Z, where Dr. Gero wanted revenge on Goku over the destruction of the Red Ribbon Army, even though Gero was nowhere to be seen during the original Red Ribbon arc. Gotta love those retcons and untold tales. On a similar note, Spider-Boy is a character that was supposed to be there all along, even though everyone, including the readers, forgot about him. The backup story shows that he was even the sidekick sometime before and during Otto's stint as a Superior Spider-Man. Speaking of which, the story does leave me with two big questions. Now that Otto remembers his past as the wall crawler, how exactly will he regain Parker's body? Like, how is he going to turn into Superior Spider-Man? When I first heard about this issue, I thought it was going to be some Spider-Verse shenanigans. You know, maybe the Superior Spider-Man from the past somehow comes into modern day or is an alternate version of him or something. But no, this is the legit 616 Dr. Octopus remembering his past. But that doesn't explain how he's going to become the Superior Spider-Man again. So yeah, I am very curious about this. The other question is, what about Anna Maria? She recognizes Supernova as her civilian self, Estrella Lopez, so I'm assuming she's going to get involved somehow. So we'll see what happens there. I love the artwork in this story, especially the fighting and this awesome 2-page spread when Dr. Octopus remembers that he was the Superior Spider-Man, showing all the events in this cool montage here, like him talking with Anna Marie and him fighting against Spider-Man 2099 and all that cool stuff, and how his costume changed throughout the run. He had these like little spider legs attached to the back and stuff like that, so it's pretty awesome. For the backup story though, Spider-Kid's drawn pretty weird, kind of scrawny and just oddly proportioned, which kind of stands out because everyone else is drawn just fine, so I don't know what happened here, and he was drawn better in the main story. And She-Hulk here looks pretty scrawny. It took me a while to figure out that that was She-Hulk because I'm used to her being taller and a little more muscular and stuff, but you know, she was a background cameo character in the story, so it doesn't really matter too much, but overall the art was pretty cool. So this story really has my attention. I want to be keeping up with this run for sure. I was surprised to see a lot of Spider-Boy in this issue. He adds this unexpected layer to the story, so I wonder what role he's going to play in the long run. Well, this is Mark from Mark Reads Comics. See you at the comic shop.